This is Miguel Fuller from The Miguel Show with Mandy and Holly on Island 106 in Panama City Beach, and you're listening to the Hoppe and Super Rich Show.
What's up? This is the Hoppe and Super Rich Show. And before we get into everything, I want to give a big shout out to my guy, Miguel Fuller of The Miguel Show with Holly and Mandy on Island 106 in Panama City for making us that drop. How badass is that, Super Rich?
It's really badass.
They have to open up your email. They have to read the script, and maybe the first time they do it's not as good. They have to then save it as an MP3, open up your email, attach it with the message, here you go. And if they do more than one, very nice of them. You know what I mean, guys? Like,
yeah.
If you really think about it, them making drops for our show, it's actually really badass. All right. Before we get into everything going on with that piece of dirt, that buffoon, that imbecile, that cretin, that criminal, as he should be, Roger Goodell, I want to remind you that you can check out The Edge. If you want to have your music submitted and you think you are worthy of being played on theedgeonair.com, email us or go to theedgeonair.com and click on the submission bar. And hey, Ryan, if we like it, we'll play it.
Maybe, if we feel like it, or we're in a good mood.
Yeah. All right, before we get to Roger Goodell, me and Ryan, because I turned 21, 8 days ago now? Wow. And it was weird. I brought 5 beers to the White Sox game we went to on, what was it, Tuesday or Monday?
Monday.
And
it was the game where Flowers hit the walk-off home run.
Hey.
Game-tying homer in the 9th.
Yeah, and the game-tying homer. Ryan's my good luck charm, so. Because that's the first time I've seen a walk-off home run, and boy, that's why I've been living my life, so.
All right, so I chugged 5 beers before I went in, so I'm like feeling it. I'm like, yeah, I'm 21 years old, about to get crunk at this White Sox game. So I buy a vodka lemonade there. I'm almost positive that there's not that much vodka in there.
Not at all. Even
Ryan
I had a
drank sip of it. I told him you could literally have a lemonade shop in front of your house, and the parents would even think to the kids, yeah, there's nothing spiked in here. I'm almost positive
like
that
Comiskey
Park, that the U.S. Cellular Park ripped us off, ripped me up.
They conveniently forgot to put the vodka in there.
There must have been a half a shot. There's nothing in there.
Do you think they actually put some in?
Yeah, because I felt it, but it might have been a placebo effect. I'm almost positive, or I wouldn't be surprised if there was little to no vodka in there, because I didn't feel anything.
How much was it?
$8.
What?
$8 I paid for possible vodka lemonade that had no vodka in it. But when I got the margarita, I gave Ryan a sip of that. Now that had some alcohol in there.
Yeah, that was stronger. Of course, I was driving. I didn't drink, but
yeah, which is
the
smart.
designated
and
driver.
You're not 21,
and I'm not 21.
Yeah,
so
Super Rich was the
there
designated
was 2 things
driver.
wrong with it. Yeah.
Why would you drink?
No, I had 1 beer. But,
all right, so that was fun. We got to see Flowers hit the game-tying home run. Yeah, it was the game-tying home run, and then the game winner. But enough of that. If you want to see the highlights, go on YouTube.
But let's move on.
All right.
Okay, this is from ABC News. I'll just read the title, and then you can go on.
Okay.
So the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell faces new pressure to resign.
Oh, yeah, he should face some pressure. Because I was watching SportsCenter, or more like I was forced to. Because at my gym last night, they had on that trash TMZ, and all the TVs are locked. So you have on the 2 things I hate in life. SportsCenter and TMZ. Now, if they had the Kardashians on, I'm not kidding. I might have drowned myself in that hot tub. Screw that. The 3 shows I despise. Okay, but I'm watching SportsCenter, and the headline reads, Goodell pledges full cooperation.
Yeah.
And here's my thing. If you're such a great commissioner, Roger Goodell, if you're such a great guy that you pledge full cooperation, where the hell was this? I don't know, in April, when you first allegedly saw the video of Ray Rice after his wife spit on him, of him knocking her out in an elevator, of her head hitting the railing in the elevator, and then him dragging her KO'd body out of an elevator, Roger Goodell.
And there was a security guard right there.
Oh, yeah, and there were people watching, and they did nothing. If I saw that, I would call the cops immediately. I would go get some help. Maybe I wouldn't go up to Ray Rice because he can kick my ass, but at the same time, I would do something to help out. So shame on those people. But that's a side note. But where was this full cooperation, Roger Goodell, you great commissioner? Where was this help? Now you go with full cooperation because you are in a corner like a little rat, like a little test rat with no guts. You are in so much trouble, and I hope no one lets it down easy. I know
no one will.
Like, remember the bounty scandal with the Saints? He just accused him of everything, and then he ended up having no proof. He said he had all this, like, audio.
He probably had proof since day one. What has gone positively since Roger Goodell joined the NFL? Think about it this way.
And this has been a short time. Keep that in mind, too.
Yeah. It's not like he created the NFL, because with guys like David,
George
he built
Hallis
up the NBA.
that.
You could say that Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan made the NBA, but David was full front, making it a worldwide sport.
Yep.
Say what you want about Gary Bettman, but he's at least done some things for the NHL. And at the same time, Risky, he doesn't screw up and have so many contradictory suspensions and rules.
He's also not the one that handles that. They have a discipline guy that helps with that. And with Bettman, it's just kind of like he's been commissioner for so long. It's just kind of like his time has come up. He's overwhelmed. Yeah, he overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's just
like
how the MLB commissioner.
Yeah.
Well, Bud Selig done a great
Selig's
job.
done things, but here's my point.
Bud Selig did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he's done great things.
Gary Bettman, or no. Roger Goodell has been in office for 8 years. 8 years. And what has he added?
The only thing he did.
The ref lockout.
Right.
He had the lockout. He had the touchception. He's had all these suspensions.
Well,
he's had more criminals than ever. He's done nothing. And don't give me this.
Other than making $44 million a year.
And not just that. And I get that he's made the NFL money, but you would have to be a moron to prevent the biggest sport league in the world from
Thursday
making money.
Night Football a weekly thing, because before he was
trash.
there,
I hate it.
Thursday Night Football
Great
was
idea.
Not,
give them 3 days rest while
well,
you
now it's
sit
on
in your comfy
CBS,
house.
which is nice, so everybody can watch it now, because it used to be on NFL Network.
But listen,
now they're showing
Thursday
it on
Night
CBS.
Football is horrible because they're scheduling. They'll put in teams that just played on Sunday.
Although it's really funny tonight because it's going to be Steelers and Ravens.
Here's what I want to ask you guys. What has he done that's so positive? Don't give me that the sport's bigger than ever and that he's made them money. You would have to be a moron. Your IQ would have to be in a negative area to prevent the NFL from making money when you're one of the biggest sports on the planet with soccer.
He kind of inherited it
That's
when
what I'm saying.
when it was when it was growing. So people would give him the credit because he was the one that was in office when it was growing, even though he inherited it while it was growing. I forget who the previous commissioner was, except he's the guy that deserves the credit for that.
Paul Tagliabue from 1989 to 2006. That's the guy we should be looking up to. I don't even want to hear any people because there's been minimal people who have tried to defend Roger Goodell. Look at what he's done. He's made it a worldwide sport. Well, he inherited everything that Pete Rozelle did from 1960 to 1989 and what Paul Tagliabue did until 2006. So don't give me that trash that Roger Goodell's done nothing. Here's my other point. I want to ask you, Risky. He has made $85 million over the last 5 years. For what? For being an absolute dumbass that can't get anything right.
And he doesn't even donate it. He doesn't even donate to charities or anything.
You've never seen him donate to anything. And if he did, he would want it to be a big spectacle on SportsCenter. Oh, look at me. I'm donating money. How about you take, like, let's say $20 million out of your net worth, because you'll be fine in life, Roger, and you send it to some spousal abuse organization that tries to prevent it. And what have you made the $85 million over the last 5 years for? Like, explain. What has he done? Paul Tagliabue?
Watch Roger Goodell go in debt now. Be one of those guys that spends his... Hey, it happens to people.
That will never happen.
You know you want it to happen to him.
I would not be sad at all. I don't root for it because he has wife and kids to feed, but I would not be sad if it happened to him. It'd be more like if he got a divorce and he got broke, but his kids were fine. Because I don't want his kids or his wife who's on Fox News to suffer. But if it were just him, I'd be fine with that.
Oh, they'll be fine if his wife's on Fox News then.
And Super Rich, I want to get your take on this because I love this about Roger Goodell. I love this. This is great. Now, let's say he didn't see it and he wasn't lying. then you would have to be the biggest buffoon running the NFL who has no pull. You are worth $85 million. How the hell are you not getting a private investigator that doesn't see the video? But of course that wasn't true because he's seen it since April. So either of those scenarios, Roger, aren't good for you, which proves why you are a sack of dirt. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he just got caught lying red-handed. Now he's trying to cover it up still.
And here's one point that Ryan added in the car ride just now, and I love. What do you mean originally there was no video when Ray Rice knocked out his wife, her head hit the railing in the elevator, and then he dragged her body out of the elevator? I just keep saying that because I want to plant it in people's head of how horrible it is and how pathetic it is that Roger Goodell covered it. What did he mean that there was no video of it? Ryan, it happened at a casino. I'm pretty sure casinos are one of the top places. That, banks, any courthouse, that would for sure have security cameras.
Right.
What do you mean there's no video of it? And that's why he was lying. And that's why I despise him. And you have to admit, I am a trendsetter when it comes to proving this buffoon out. Now everyone's tweeting at NFL commish. But I'm almost positive.
He hasn't deleted his Twitter account yet?
No, I'm almost positive as well, Ryan.
I don't think he's looking at it, though.
I think people are, though. You know, some of the people that work with him do. It's just, I know he's seen my tweets before because I bitch him out on Twitter, dude. It's pathetic. All right, I just had to get that out there, Ryan SuperRICH. You know what I mean? Because he gets me so mad. Because it's not a joke. He covered up spousal abuse so that a great player could keep playing football. SuperRICH. At the end of the day, it's just a sport.
And now we know why he only gave Ray Rice 2 games.
Yeah. And now read the article for us, because afterwards, I got some good things to pick with ESPN and TMZ and their coverage of it.
Well, what did the NFL and Commissioner Roger Goodell know about Ray Rice's assault of his then-fiancée and when? Some critics, including retired NFL players, are now calling for Goodell's dismissal from his position as the commissioner of the NFL.
You should. Bye-bye. See ya.
Former FBI Director Robert Mueller has been tasked with getting to the bottom of this matter, assigned by the league to conduct an independent investigation into the NFL's pursuit and handling of evidence following the February fight between Rice and Janae. Within days of the incident, surveillance video from outside the elevator emerged showing Palmer unconscious. The NFL's efforts to acquire additional surveillance video from inside the elevator showing the actual attack remain unclear. Rice, 27, was initially suspended for 2 games, but after the second video was released by TMZ on Monday showing Rice punching Janae, the Baltimore Ravens terminated Rice's contract. This is just sort of a refresher of what happened.
We have someone on the phone line. It's one of my original co-hosts, as he hates Roger Goodell just as much as me, and he's going into radio. He was the co-host of Chi-Town in the Big Apple back at Harper College. He goes to the University of Miami because he's smarter than me, but he was my co-host back then. On the phone line, Hoppe and SuperRICH show. It's my guy, Neil Dwyer. What's up, Neil?
I go to the University of Miami because I'm richer than you, not because I'm smarter than you.
And you're more privileged, and you're better than me. All right. Were you just listening to the show before you messaged me on Facebook? Did you hear some of my points about Roger by any chance?
No, I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't listen before I call him. That's just ridiculous.
Basically, it was just like he's the biggest phony. Like, what is your take on everyone? Because me and SuperRICH were talking about this. Everyone who said, well, he's made it the biggest sport on the planet. Neil, he's had this gig since 2006. You would have to be a moron to screw it up. What do you think?
Well, it really started, I think, even before the domestic violence issues. I think it started when I first saw that real sports report on these NFL players that were lining up in these old-timers homes. And they were like, younger than my dad. My dad's 54, by the way. So it's really been one mess after another, and this really kind of takes the cake right now. You start with getting a video, holding a press conference, Ray Rice's wife defends him in public, and then this video comes out where basically she goes down like a character in Family Guy whenever one of them gets punched in the face. I mean, it is just a total disaster right now.
Do you think he should be kicked out of the NFL and out of his position as commissioner?
Well, I'll tell you what. From what I've heard, they can't legally do that. The owners have to vote on that. And, if you twist the owners' arms enough, meaning that if they continue to get embarrassed, by this guy. You never know what's going to happen. Me personally, I don't think anything's going to happen to him.
I think it should happen, but here's why. I think he's got the best lawyers around him. I think he's got the best legal defense that's going to milk this and figure out ways to defend this redhead. I think in the end, he should be kicked out, and I hope the media doesn't let him down. Because before anything happened, before all the public outrage, when I was just hating on the 2-game suspension or the fact that Josh Gordon's out for the year, like you see my tweets, I hound him by tweeting at NFL Commish. But now everyone's doing it, so I hope no one lets him go. I hope that they quit talking about it that they don't quit talking about it and they don't let this go, because if the public outrage doesn't leave, Neil, no one's going to let this go, and he might have to resign. Because he done positively for the NFL? Can you think of anything where you're like, wow, Roger Goodell did good? We've had 2 lockouts with him, all the messed up suspensions, all the new dumb rules, adding Thursday night football and having teams that just played on Sunday play 3 days later. Like, can you think of anything that this guy has done right? Anything?
All he does is sit there and make $44 million.
What do you think, Neil?
He's pretty much done everything right behind the scenes. He's done right with the owners. He's made them more money. He's made the game more money. Now, he's talking about what he hasn't done right. Yeah, he really hasn't done much right for the fans that really can't afford to go to games anymore because of the PSLs that are also losing faith in the sport. Football is really, I can't tell you the exact numbers, but I don't think any amount of pink jerseys or breast cancer awareness is really going to bring women back. I think they've really lost women this time.
They do that every year. Like, who cares? It's so weird, too. Like, he pretends to be a woman's activist. They have, like, more things that relate to women, like having Bruno Mars, Madonna at the Super Bowl. But then you're cool with Ray Rice's wife being dragged out of an elevator unconscious. I'm pretty sure women will continue to watch the NFL, but no one likes Roger Goodell. And Neil, Risky and Super Rich, I want to get your take on this. How does he go home at night and look his wife in the eyes? Because, like in every sitcom, they go, hey, honey, how was work? Or just a normal life. Our moms say that to the dads. How was work, honey? How was your day, kids? Like, how does that go down at the Goodell household where it's like, hey, honey.
At the Goodell mansion, you mean?
Why would they care? Why would she care? Because he's making $44 million a year.
I'm just saying, as a scenario, Risky, what do you think it's like, Neil, when he goes home?
Are you making more money this year?
What is it like covering out spousal abuse where a girl gets knocked out cold?
I think it's not even covering up, like, you see all these thriller movies, the guy is sweating and the guy's kind of, can't sleep at night, can't think straight. I think it's just almost, how do I put this? Almost situation normal, in a sense. Han Solo disguised as a stormtrooper said it over the radio in Star Wars, situation normal here, that's just like on baseball with the steroids. And then by the time all this stuff kind of gets out, it's too late. Otherwise you have to stop the most popular, the biggest players in the game, and, these guys aren't willing to do that.
All right, so the claim by Roger Goodell that the league was unaware of the brutality of Rice's assault on his then-fiancée also come under a cloud because a police report at the time stated clearly that Rice committed assault by striking her with his hand, rendering her unconscious. Rice was charged with aggravated assault, but since he had a clean record and faced a third-degree charge, he was allowed to enter a pretrial intervention program.
Why should
and then
that
they
be allowed?
got married in March.
Just because he doesn't have a previous criminal record? If I were to go knock out my future girlfriend out cold in Vegas, they wouldn't let me go off that easy. It's just because he's Ray Rice. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been the badass of his life since he played flag football. Everyone's kissed Ray Rice's ass.
They should take away his Super Bowl ring.
That'd be great.
That would be so funny. I mean, obviously they would never do that.
That'd be unfair to do that.
But it would, yeah. I mean, obviously they wouldn't do it, but it'd be really funny if they did.
You have like a big ceremony, and he passes it over, and everyone boos.
Well, it's just like the article I was reading a little earlier when you guys left. He went to Rutgers University, and they're pretty much just doing away with him. They're keeping all his records in their record books, but it's pretty much like he never existed at Rutgers
See,
University.
now if someone were to get like some sort of award taken away, it should be Ryan Braun getting his MVP award confiscated for steroids.
Well, Bud Selig wouldn't allow that to happen. What do you think, Neil?
Well, the funny thing is, Rutgers is the last college that should be talking. They've had more domestic violence issues with. That's the last school that should be talking about, racing Ray Rice like it was never there.
All right, and now, Ryan, is there any more in the article? Because I got a point I really want to get Neil's take on.
There's not much that we already don't know. There was some tweets from some other NFL players.
What does it say? I want to hear some of these.
This guy, London Fletcher, I don't know exactly who he is. If Roger Goodell...
Let me check.
It doesn't say. If Roger Goodell won't resign, put him on a leave of absence pending outside investigation. NFL fans, players, and sponsors deserve that. And then Brian Westbrook, he also tweeted...
Remember him from like 2008?
Being
Wow,
a leader
throwback.
is not a part-time job. If Goodell holds the players to a high standard, he should be held to that same high standard. So that's what some of the players are saying, and yeah.
And now here's my last point before I go on a rant about the coverage that TMZ and SportsCenter are doing. Neil, what type of precedent, what type of lessons of moral in life does this set to the kids who are playing football, who maybe were Ravens fans, who looked up to Ray Rice, where until now he had a 2-game suspension, and smoking weed and popping Molly at a horse racing event isn't as bad as knocking out your wife? What type of precedent does it set where he's not being kicked out even though he knew about it since April? Doesn't it just leave you with a bad taste in your mouth that he might just slide away and get away with this?
Well, that's up to the parents to set an example and teach the kids right from wrong. That's not up to the NFL. The NFL, in fact, all 4 sports leagues are guys, with criminal records. So, maybe not so much the NHL, of course, nobody really pays attention to them anyway. But that's really up to the parents. Now, if you're talking about setting an example, if you're going to set an example, I would probably say that, like I said, it's really up to the parents, not up to the NFL.
Okay. Now, I was at the gym last night, and it was horrible. All the TVs in the locker room, they're set on lock. So you can't change the channel. The other gym I go to, you can do that. So whenever they have it on SportsCenter, I switch it to anything. I'll watch C-SPAN before I watch LeBron Center, or now it's Ray Rice Center.
And Johnny Manziel Center.
Ugh. But they had it on SportsCenter, Neil, and on TMZ. And at the same time, they were talking about Ray Rice, and at the same time, they were showing the video over and over. Those trash bags, Harvey Levitt and Charles Latt, whatever his name is, they were reviewing the tape, Neil, over and over. And I got into a bit of a Twitter beef with some random person. They're like, well, that's what happens when you marry Ray Rice. You have the whole thing that you're going to be in the spotlight. I get that you have to talk about it because it's news. But show some respect to a woman who got knocked out by her husband. Show some respect to a woman who was blaming the media because she's so afraid of Ray Rice. You know what I mean? She was actually blaming the media, not her husband, that knocked her out cold. That is a disgrace to journalism in general, that they are showing that video on loop. It's okay to talk about it. I get you have to for the news and for ratings. But there's such thing as YouTube. All you have to do, Neil, is type in Ray Rice knocks out his girlfriend cold. This isn't 1980. Or even when Bobby Cox got into something. Let's say there was a Bobby Cox tape. I get maybe you show it on the news for someone who hasn't seen it for the first time. But this is 2014 going on 2015. There's social media. Hell, I have my iPhone in my pocket right now. I can pull it up right now if I want to watch it. It gives me chills when I watch it. How do these guys at TMZ are actually cool with embarrassing Ray Rice's wife, I think her name's like Janae, live on public TV. And how embarrassing for his kid who's going to have to hear about this 10 years from now. This is embarrassing to the girl that he knocked out. Talk about Ray Rice. Don't bring his wife into this. The victim who got knocked.
What was you going to talk about? You got to talk about the an old
No,
story.
I'm saying it's okay to talk about the situation, but you don't have to show that video on loop. We got it. She got knocked out. It's embarrassing for her. It's embarrassing for Janae Rice. It's embarrassing for her parents, all her loved one, all her friends, all her coworkers, anybody that knows Janae Rice. It's more embarrassing. It's more painful when you have to show it on loop, SportsCenter. When you show it on loop, TMZ. We got it. And if we don't want to see it, we can Google it. Just like when Kevin Ware got hurt. They didn't keep showing it. You had to YouTube it.
Or the Paul George injury that
That's
just
the one I
happened.
was trying to think of. I know it's not the same as spousal abuse, but it's that shocking where you're watching someone get hurt. Yeah, the Paul George and Kevin Ware thing, that was them getting hurt during a game, but they didn't show that. Why don't you show her some respect? If you're really against spousal abuse, Ron Jaworski, Herb Edwards, all these guys at Super Rich told me we're speaking out against domestic abuse. How about you quit showing the video?
It's like it turned into a police station rather than a sports station, which is what it should be.
What is your take, Neil Dwyer?
Well, I'll tell you what, honestly, I know I'm treading thin ice here. I've never been involved in domestic violence. I've never been hit. I've never hit anybody.
Yeah.
But she honestly embarrassed herself when she comes out in public and supports them in public, knowing full well that this is probably going to all recycle itself and come out even uglier than before. That, I think, is more embarrassing.
And then here's my last point. It's a bit off topic, but how about SportsCenter? It's not Ray Rice Center. It's not LeBron James Center. It's not Tim Tebow Center. How about you go back to covering the Thursday night matchup tonight? How about you go back and cover some of the NCAA games this weekend? How about you go back to previewing the NFL? Hey, preview LeBron on the Cavs. Hey, preview, I don't know, October is right around the corner. You have the one-game playoffs with the MLB. You have a really hot-packed race going on right now. How about you cover one of that? What do you think, Neil, before I let you go? Because it's an embarrassment that they keep showing it.
Do you know how long SportsCenter would be if they just covered the news?
I know, but find a new narrative. They're good at finding narratives. Find something else.
I said it would be like a typical network newscast. It would be a half hour. It would be SportsCenter.
But you just don't have my
time.
Yeah.
They've been in bed with the players for 25 years. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. What did you say, Risky?
Now, all they know how to do now is find stories about Johnny Manziel, LeBron James, Michael Sam, and now Ray Rice.
ESPN's all about annoying narratives. They were not like this 5 years ago. They have become more like TMZ every day, that trash TV that has narratives. Last night I was watching TMZ. It's like the annoying paparazzi. They ask Kim Kardashian's sibling, Khloe, who has a bigger butt, you or Kim? Like, if that's news, I'm done. That's why I want to go into media, to wake people up that this is what's going on in journalism. It's going down a drain. That Mike Judge classic idiocracy, Neil, it's upon us.
That was a great movie. Listen, before I go, I just want to make perfectly clear. I'm not blaming the victim. All I'm saying is, you want to stop domestic violence, you got to take a stand for yourself, and you can't embarrass yourself like that. And supporting a guy that beat you up in an elevator.
All right, Neil, where can people find your work online and some of the things you do down in Miami Beach, where you took your talents?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think anybody's going to want it, or rather, I don't want anybody to even know where I am, because now everybody's going to be wondering, is he a victim blamer? But follow me on Twitter, Neil Dwyer 1993.
Add him right now. Anything coming up down in Miami, like doing play-by-play, or just you on the beach flexing for the ladies?
Well, the Canes are playing Arkansas State on Saturday at 3:30 on ESPNU. And I'll be there covering it for the Hurricane House, school favorite.
And didn't you just get a new gig as the sports desk anchor?
Yeah, we have a show. It's kind of like a Sports Center show, a half hour every Friday called Sports Desk, and I have just been named anchor. Although
Neil Dwyer, I am so proud of you.
People.
2 years ago, we were doing a talk show that 4 people listened to, and the reception didn't reach Woodfield. And now you're doing your own sports show. Yeah. Neil Dwyer, thank you for coming on the Hoppe and Super Rich show here on The Edge. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Talk to you later in like 10 minutes on Facebook. All right. That was my guy, Neil Dwyer. What did you think? Because he's one of the guys to look out for. He's about to explode. He interned for Scott Farrell at CBS Sports Radio in New York. Like, that kid's got mad talent.
Where did you meet him at?
I've never met him. It's weird.
You've never met this guy?
No, but we're like good friends. Because here's what happened. I had this YouTube page 2 years ago called Ryan Hoppe Show, and I would just use tags. Well, I have that page, but that's how I had all my shows, and I would comment on these videos, and I had this rant about something back then. So he clicked on it, and then he clicked on my Facebook fan page that was on my YouTube account, and he messaged me, "Are you in radio?" And we just began talking. Then I friend requested him, and we've been talking ever since. So call the show real quick before we get up on out of here. 630-785-2510. That is 630-785-2510. I get so mad. Like, that's one of the few things where I actually get furious is Roger Goodell. Even the Kardashians, they're innocent at the end of the day. Yeah, they're famous for a sex tape. Yeah, they have no talent. Yeah, their face and their whole image is plastic. But you know what I mean? At least they don't do anything. Roger Goodell pretty much is defending spousal abuse. We'll be right back, and we're going to wrap up everything after this. BRB.
The Hoppe and Super Rich Show. TheEdgeOnAir.com. This is an official broadcast of Hoppe Radio. For more info, check out HoppeRadio.com and HoppesWorld.com.